Hi, my name's Tony Ridley, and once again welcome back to another crisis, leadership and management education and tutorial. In the last session we spoke about the significance of defining crisis and what it means to different organisations, and we touched upon the fact that it really boils down to being a significant event that was unplanned and or a series of events occurring simultaneously. In this session, what I want to re-emphasize is the fact that it means different things to different organizations. So contextually, what may be a crisis to another organization is routine, mundane, possibly even doesn't appear on the priority decision-making process. However, for others, it could be catastrophic. It requires definition, even though it may be low in probability and high in impact, and we'll talk about the impact and the effects in later series. It's often a cumulative effect. Now, the cumulative effect may be the net result of circumstances external to an organisation, but can also be a series of internal cumulative effects, which means it could be poor policy, decision making, leadership, timing, communications, all those sorts of things, which again, the management and the handling of a particular set of events, whether they're documented and prepared for in advance, may result in the event being defined or resulting in a more crisis type scenario. And last but certainly not least is that everybody needs to be cognizant of the fact that the mechanism may not be direct. It may not be obvious, it may not be immediately apparent, and it could be a downstream effect that as a result of a number of other circumstances, it created the impact or the event or the sequence of events that have led to a crisis. Disruption types themselves are often indirect. Very rarely will a crisis present itself with a large billboard and a placard to announce its arrival in brightly coloured attire. The reality is that there are many combinations, permutations and sympathetic effects that constitute and certainly influence the basics of crisis, which fall into business, natural, accidental and even human impact. The reality is that the effect is what qualifies and categorises a crisis, in the fact that it could be physical, operational, financial, reputational, and possibly even legal in nature. The reality is it's the net cause. It comes back to the old adage, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody hears it, does it really make a sound? Does it really happen? The same thing. If this event takes place and it has no collateral or impact, then it simply can't be defined as a crisis. The crisis pyramid, as we often refer to, is the 1%, the pinnacle being the crisis, something that culminates in a whole of business disruption and devastating effect, when in reality the base of that structure and the base of the concern is routine in nature. It could be everyday hazards and threats. As I said earlier, many organisations that undergo these processes on a regular basis simply don't see what could be life-threatening, for example, as routine if you're an emergency room doctor or physician, for example. And then as we start to go up, we see the significant events and then major events that result in loss and or disruption, all the way up to catastrophic crisis, which is rarely more than 1 to 5% of the overall operating life cycle. Now, remembering that life cycle could be spread over a matter of weeks, months or hours, or it could be over the life cycle of an organisation. In the last 50 years, there may have been a significant amount of routine. However, the last 3 months constitutes a financial crisis, a run of natural disasters, losses, setbacks, insolvencies, and so on. So again, the timeline is often nondescript and certainly non-qualified. So the essence of crisis management and the means of overcoming is the unified effort to minimise the impact of events that may result in loss of life, earnings, market share and or future prospects. So again, the basic essence, the guidelines that everybody should be heading towards and swimming within the lanes, is a unified effort, even in the absence of the details and particulars of a plan, so long as everybody is moving in the same direction with the same objective that seeks to resolve or contain or mitigate a set of circumstances that may lead to loss, of utility, value, and so on. So once again, thanks very much for joining us in this crisis management leadership and management education tutorial. For more information and further training tutorials, please visit www.crisismanagement.tony-ridley.com. Once again, thanks very much and goodbye.